Take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and then sigh it out. Deep breath in, sigh it out your mouth. Deep breath in, sigh it out your mouth. Good. Good. How you feel today, Rigel?
Yeah, I was a little under the weather last week. Actually, I was really under the weather last week, but I'm recovering now, though. Yeah. What about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, this it's been really nice out here in LA now. It's a little bit cold, but beside that, life is good.
Exactly, exactly. It's almost springtime, so you know, it's
Mm.
springtime. Springtime weather in LA is fire. It's like
It is
here, you know what I'm saying? Like here, it's really
definitely.
nice, right? So, Rich, I was thinking, I still haven't seen it yet, and I really do want to see it, and probably because when it came out here, it was a period where I wasn't able to. I was really busy, so I didn't get a chance to see it. So I'm gonna wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. But I was thinking about Gladiator 2, and I was thinking about how even in antiquity, in ancient times, even then, watching warriors battle it out in the Colosseum or different venues, it was something that was praised upon by millions or thousands of the inhabitants, even the royals, or the emperors. But I wanted to know, from your point of view, obviously that was more violent, and sport is much less violent today, unless if you think about Florentine soccer. But and that's another story. But why do you think that people are so obsessed with sports?
I think that's definitely an interesting question, but I think it's kind of like I don't know if you're familiar with Joseph Campbell, A
No,
Hero's
I'm not.
Journey. So
Okay,
basically,
okay, yeah, yeah.
so it's just like the archetypes of like different stories and whatnot. And I think everybody relates to the hero. So
Okay,
everybody has a hero inside of them, or they idolize a hero. Maybe that's outside of them. Maybe
okay,
in essence that's like glorifying a god or something like that. But I think sports, you have that hero,
okay,
or that team that's a hero to you, or you're playing a sport and you're the hero. And
okay,
I think people just identify with that. Maybe maybe it's an ego thing, or maybe it's something even deeper than ego. Maybe it's something that's like their connection with God in a way. And I know that sounds
well,
really deep and whatnot, but if you look at some of these sporting events, people take it like it's a religion. So, and I know
yeah,
you're a
well,
big Inter Milan fan, and
uh,
when the Champions League is starting up Wednesday, so I know you're going to be glued to the TV. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Definitely will be. Definitely will be. No, because like you said, that's very interesting that you brought that up because even in the original Olympics, a lot of times libations and how can I say offers were made to the gods to to respect the gods, and most athletes were considered to be these demigods or um, let's say quasi deities because they were, I don't know, how can I say, impeccable specimens of athleticism. But yeah, like you said, I understand how the fact that we can always think that these people are relatable, but are they really relatable? Because a lot of times when we see athletes, and this is from my personal take on things, most people ask me which sports do I enjoy watching. I absolutely love watching soccer or football, as it's called internationally, because, or let's say, I love watching. Another sport that I love watching is basketball. And I would say the reason why I like these sports so much, and or even more, let's say this. Ironically, like the sports that I've always played, American football and rugby, I don't really follow so much. You know what I'm saying? I never followed the Rugby World Cup or anything, and that's basically because I don't know. I kind of always see myself as a potential adversary or opponent of those guys, even though I knew that wasn't the case. Whereas in soccer or international football and basketball, I know that I was never good enough to be at that level. So so I was able to gravitate to basketball or to football or soccer because of the fact that I know I suck at it. And I don't. For me, so that means that from an athletic point of view, I'm not very relatable, or they're not very relatable to me. So, do you think that might just be case of me being of I say, an anomaly, or do you think that most people, like you said before, they relate, but maybe because they relate in their imagination?
I think people kind of maybe relate in their imagination deep down inside it. They idolize, and I think
Okay,
idolization is a form it is a form of relating. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
It's a form
okay,
of connecting with something else that's bigger than you and whatnot.
okay.
And but it's interesting that you made it up, like you how like sports that you were pretty good at, that you felt like you had like a shot at professionally, where you did play
Yeah,
professional rugby, but
yeah,
you felt like watching them on TV, you feel like you really don't have any time for them because you feel like they're just adversaries. Or
exactly,
whereas the
exactly,
other sports that you weren't good enough at, based on physical, like to be an NBA player, you really have to be like 6'8" or above.
exactly,
And
exactly.
so,
Yep.
you know,
Like
you know,
even motorsports, I really
yeah,
like Formula One, MotoGP. So yeah, but
yeah,
I suck at those things. So but I really
yeah,
admire those guys.
yeah,
So
for sure.
like you said, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
so that admiration is probably like, that's what we that we idolize that. So
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting that the sports that you're not good at, you idolize, and maybe because it's something that you deep down inside know that you can't do, but
Uh-huh.
you really want to do. So sometimes what you can't know, you can't do, what you don't have, you kind of wish you won more. So that's
Okay.
that's
No,
that's
like I
what
said, I think my case might be also, I don't know, maybe a bit
mm,
of an anomaly. I'm not sure, but this is one of those things I've never really asked many people. Like, yo, you're good at soccer. Do you like watching soccer? You know what I'm saying? I never really asked people that. I never got other
mm,
people's point of view. And I know that a lot of my ex teammates in my rugby team or rugby teams who also played professionally with me and competitively with me, they actually liked watching, the Six Nations or Rugby World Cup. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if they really liked watching or they just like the atmosphere, I love the atmosphere, but as a spectator, I don't really feel it, you know what I'm saying? I can sit and watch any type of soccer match. I could watch soccer match of like under 18-year-olds playing, women's soccer, because I know that all of them are much better than I would ever be, you know what I'm saying? And which brings me to another thing. You talked about the hero story. And I think that a lot of people like the hero story because often, not always, but often in scripture, in books, and in the literary arts, we often find the hero story is actually an example, or it's a subset of that underdog's story.
mm.
Do you think that being that underdog that becomes the hero, do you think that's what most people like? Watching to see that number 7 seed team winning the NBA championship, or that unranked tennis player get into the finals of Wimbledon. Do you think that's another thing that a lot of people admire and
So I
obsess
think
on?
I think the underdog story is probably, I think the underdog story, the revenge story, and the
Okay,
redemption story are
okay,
the three main narratives that people just love. They eat it up, and that's
okay.
been throughout
Do you,
history.
do
Because
you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite of each
mm,
personally?
what the story, I like redemption. Yeah, redemption. I'm not
Yeah,
a big revenge person. I don't really hold on to that energy of revenge. Underdog, I definitely relate to the
okay.
underdog. That's growing up where I
Okay.
grew up. So like underdog and
Do you have
redemption.
a favorite one? Do you have a favorite one
I'd probably say
in particular?
underdog. Yeah, underdog slightly ahead of redemption. What about for
No,
you?
what I'm saying is, do you have an exact story? For example, for me, my favorite revenge story, and it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
ongoing. My favorite revenge story, which is still ongoing, is the Luca story in LA.
Oh,
Luca's
yeah,
my man.
yeah.
That's my number one. That's my number one player.
Yeah, he's a
And
little bit overweight, but him and LeBron are killing. LeBron is my
hey,
favorite dude.
I
Yeah.
mean, we look at Shaq was overweight. Chuck Barkley was overweight. Jokic is super overweight. You know what I'm saying, right? But but the thing is, I think that that revenge story, because like you said before, it's that relatability, because everyone does have, even though if we might not be vengeful or vindictive,
Mhm.
saying at the core, a lot of us do feel vindication, or we do feel that sense of revenge. And when we see saying we see someone else prosper, at least in my case, like Lucas, in the block, but he's not doing what he was doing, saying at the end of last year. This year he was hurt 2 or 3 times, and like the last time when we was traded, he was hurt, saying for a couple of weeks, saying it wasn't like a 1 day thing, saying he was out for a couple of weeks, so and he had never really recovered from the injury before that, saying. So yeah, I feel that he's going to come back he's going to be a change person because, with LeBron naturally changes people. But I think he's going to be one of those few people that is going to actually be able to use that change and integrate it with his style of play. But sorry if I digress. I just love Luka. That's my dude. But I mean, probably my best redemption story. I don't know. I think that even though I don't like him so much, I know he's your favorite basketball player, Michael Jordan. I liked his redemption story, even if it wasn't as prosperous and prolific as his run in the early 90s and the late 80s. But I like the fact him coming back from baseball because he felt that love for the game, so he had to come back. You know what I'm saying? And I think he still did quite well, even though he went to a crap Wizards team. And, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but it was what it was, you know what I'm saying? His true peak time it expired. He wasn't in the game, like in the politics of the game as much anymore, because I'm quite sure that if he even stayed in the politics, he could have been like LeBron. He practically dictates what goes on in the NBA. For sure, he dictates what goes on in LA. That's why his best friend JJ Redick, which I like, but that's the reason why he became head coach. His son, who should be in the G League or should have stayed another couple years in college, is playing. You know what I'm saying? So that's not because of talent or skill. Those are real DEA nepotism hirings. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but
JJ Redick is very qualified. He got them.
But he is very qualified. No, like I said, I really like him, but there were many more. You can't say that there weren't many more that they could have gone for. You know what I'm saying? They probably could have even snatched up some. What's the one guy who was at Toronto for a while? Well, he actually coached like for many years in Europe.
Yeah, but he coaches at what? He coaches the
kept winning. The one who got Toronto their champion.
He coaches the 76ers.
The Sixers, yeah. But okay, so you're saying that. But you think that they got a generational, you know what I'm saying, franchise player like Luka overnight, and they couldn't get him? A coach, come on, coaches, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I'm sure you can still them more quickly than players, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, like I said, I think I like mostly the not the revenge story so much, but especially the redemption stories, because it shows that even when you're down, when you think you're out, then you can come back. You can make a comeback. You know what I'm saying? It might not be as prosperous as before, because I think the problem was that everybody expected Jordan to play at prime Jordan, Rodman, Pippen level, but he wasn't there anymore. It's kind of like, I think that's the way with most things, you know what I'm saying? It's that entropy of the sport, you know what I'm saying? New players come in, and it's only natural, you know what I'm saying? Like LeBron James is balling, but if you took his stats, you know what I'm saying, compared to other people, you know what I'm saying, he's up there with, you could say Cade Cunningham is better than him. You know what I'm saying?
No,
statistically.
LeBron is still up
there. But he's not.
LeBron is still top 3 statistically. If you look at the
yeah, no, definitely. But we still kind of respect. You hear it all the time. You hear a lot of sportscasters, especially your boy Stephen A. Smith. He's always dissing LeBron. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, he should be better. You want to compare him to Jordan? Like, in the end, really, Jordan and LeBron really don't even compare themselves to each other. It's everyone else who does. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that we kind of respect LeBron out of high school. We think about the Miami Heat LeBron. You know what I'm saying? That's not him anymore, but he's still a super great player. He's a monster. He's a 40-year-old playing with kids, really his kid. He's really playing with his kid and dominating still. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal. That's not normal.
And he's actually more athletic than those young kids. He's playing with more effort, more hustle, and more effort which is important. But he improved his game, like his jump shooting game. Like he didn't have a jump shot.
Yeah.
Now
he didn't have a jump shot. He's
shooting 43% from 3-point. He's like a top 5 3-point shooter percentage wise. So I mean, he totally revolutionized his game to fit in modern day NBA. And I think that's maybe the difference between him and Jordan. Jordan took that time off, whereas LeBron stayed in the game.
That's what I said. Yeah. If Jordan had stayed in, even if he had a little dip in quality, he would have still had his hand in everything. You know what I'm saying? In the politics of the sport, right? So the thing is, like you said before, a lot of people might be so engaged into sports, even with a sense of obsession, for different reasons. Like we said, the hero story, the underdog story, or the revenge story, redemption story. But do you think that's why there is so much money involved in professional sports?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it is supply and demand. People, they just love it. I think it is at the end of the day, it really appeals to people deep down emotions of being a hero. and not only
Okay.
men but women. Women love sports just as much as men. So for
Yeah.
sure, like
Yeah. Yeah.
if you look at like the NFL, the National Football League in America,
Huh?
women watch football just as much as men do. And you would think this is like a brutal male sport, but
Yeah.
like 50% of the
Yeah.
viewers,
Yeah.
50% of the viewers are women. Maybe because they got Taylor Swift on the team now, but but besides having
No, I
Taylor
don't know.
Swift,
I think no, a lot of them are they're well versed. They're real read, and at least from
yeah,
what I see, even a lot of commentators, even a lot of when they might do
yeah,
interviews. Think about our sister. Think about Rhodesia. Rhodesia is well versed in the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
She knows her
follows
NFL.
she follows a crap squad, but
Nah,
but
Lions 15-2 last year, dude.
that was last year. That was last year. What was it like the semi play or the semi Eastern Conference Finals?
They lost in the
Yeah,
semis, yeah. So
yeah,
that's
the
all
semi.
right.
Yeah, so
But they'll be back next year. I'm a Lions
I hope
fan.
so. I really do. It's my home team. You know what I'm saying? I've
Yeah, they're
never,
good.
I love football, but I never had a real football team. Like, and so I went with the default. You know what I'm saying, with the Lions. But and that's especially because they had Barry Sanders. Because and this is one of the things I talk about with a lot of my
Mhm,
friends,
mhm,
people here. Because in Italy and many places in Europe, I can't speak for all of Europe. They really have an obsession with the team.
mhm.
Whereas in America, yeah, we like the team, but often we are really like, what I'm saying, we're hooked more so not yeah, more so probably in some cases with individual players. Like I'm now a Lakers fan because of Luka. You know what I'm saying? I'm
That's
now a Ferrari fan. I'm now a Ferrari fan because Lewis Hamilton is driving Ferrari now. You know what I'm saying? So
but,
I mean,
that's
you know,
interesting. So that goes. I would like to ask you this question. Then it's like, so in America versus Europe. So you think we idolize more the individual hero, whereas in Europe and other countries they individualize they glamorize team.
okay. Well, that's very interesting that you brought that up because I have a
Yeah.
theory on that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want to hear it because they think there's two separate things, but I think it's just no, I think they're actually very indicative. And this is the idea because a lot of European countries do have parliamentary governments. So you
Mhm.
never really vote for a president; you vote for the party, and they put up who their leader is for that party as the president or prime minister. You understand? We never vote for the president, the prime minister here, but
Mhm.
we vote for the party, and the majority party sends up their leader. But they already know who that leader is. You know what I'm saying? So in reality, you kind of voted for that person, but you're not really voting for that person. So you're voting for that team, you know what I'm saying, for that political party. And I think in America, because being more individualistic, because it is common. I'm one of those people who don't vote down the ballots usually. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I might pick, a representative that's Republican and another representative that's Democrat, you know what I'm saying? A Democratic governor, Republican president. I'm all over the board, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of, you know what I'm saying? And I guess I think that's kind of like the American way of kind of like not putting everything in one basket type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's very interesting that you said it, and I think that's my theory behind it because their parliamentary government systems work because you vote for the teams, you don't vote for or the parties, you don't vote for the individual, the athlete, or the politician. Really, you know what I'm saying? At a federal level, okay, regional and city level you do, but municipal level you do, but at the higher levels you don't vote for the person, you vote for the party. So, and I think that's very, very, very interesting. So there's always that power struggle with even inside of some parties. You know what I'm saying? Whereas and also that exists in sports, I think everywhere also, but I think that that's what makes an athlete kind of have all of these people gravitate. In fact, because that's another thing. Lionel Messi makes more money from a salary in Miami than he did any time in his life. You know what I'm saying? Even at Paris Saint Germain, where they were, saying where the Sultans were just like pouring out money to him. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
in America, athletes can make a lot of money on their salary. You know what I'm saying? Because people know that the spectators gravitate to those people. You know what I'm saying? To those
Yeah.
people, not so much the team, but the people. And I think that's one of the main reasons why, personally, I like more so the athlete than the team. I like the team too. For example, with my Inter is more important than any individual player, but I still have those players who I don't say idolize, but I really, really, really like. So and
So
that's the thing.
you think you guys got a shot at winning Champions League this year? Well, Liverpool is good though, right?
But I think we're going to be fortunate and avoid
Avoid it
Liverpool, and I think
until
Liverpool might get eliminated before getting to the final. So
why they don't play.
that's my hope.
They play Real Madrid, don't they?
I think so. Yeah, and Real
But
Madrid, even though they lost yesterday,
yeah, but Real
yeah, to
Madrid is
the Atletico or
Real
something
Madrid.
like that. Yeah,
Real
but I
Madrid is
think
still Real Madrid. It's
if I,
still Real
they've been
Madrid.
playing really well, and I think it's because it's just their mind was on, saying on the Champions League match, and Mbappe is starting to finally fit into the system. That's dangerous.
But
That's
what
like
about what's his name? Bellingham is him and Bellingham, and what's his name?
they're finally starting
And what's his
to
name?
stitch.
Vinicius Junior.
Vinicius Junior is he's the in everyone's opinion, like most people who follow football or soccer say that he's the real Palom d'Or, golden boot winner this
I
last
think
year. Not
I think
you know what I'm saying?
he's so consistent.
He's consistent and he
He,
changes the game. If
he,
he's
he
in,
yeah.
I was
And
watching.
Mbappe changed the game too because he's just so fast.
Yeah,
But
but yeah,
but
but
he's
Mbappe, if he's not on his game that day, because no athlete, no superstar is always, saying, imposing, and like so, if Mbappe is suffering, the game suffers, and like so much of the game which is built around him starts to suffer. But Vinicius, even if he's suffering at doing what he needs to do, what he usually does, he finds something else to
yeah,
do. You know what I'm
he's
saying?
consistent.
And he
Yeah,
contributes in that way.
he's
And
so
that's
consistent.
why saying he's so fucking.
Well, I think that's mental because, like, I mean, that's Mbappe. Mbappe is not getting what he wants. He's just kind of hanging his head down, his posture's down. Vinicius Junior is like, yo, how else can I impact winning? How else can I impact winning? Because that's
Exactly.
Vinicius Junior is all about impacting winning. So, I mean, he's
Exactly.
my
No, in
favorite
fact,
player.
yeah. I was watching this podcast the other day with what's his name? What's his name? Gilbert
Arenas, yeah.
Arena. Yeah. And they were saying, they're talking about NBA, but and I think that applies to they're saying when you talk about player, you know what I'm saying? At any time you have to think when that person is in the game, the ideal is that they are going to win, even if they don't always win. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Real Madrid always win, but when Vinicius Junior is in the game, your idea is that okay, they're going to win. That's how impactful he is. You know what I'm saying? When Jordan was in the game, even if he was shooting one for like 45 in the first 3 quarters, you knew still they could win the game on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? And Mbappe hasn't been that yet. And I think I have another thing I think about Mbappe was he had that statutory rape charge that was brought up on him at the beginning of the year, and he was kind of like taken aback from that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, I didn't know.
Right?
I didn't.
Even though it was like all the evidence.
What do you say about all the evidence?
No, I say that with Mbappe, he had this thing about a statutory rape charge or something like that, but all the evidence was against him. But when an athlete gets kind of charged for these things, it's kind of like okay, yeah, all of the media frenzy and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was even actually suspended from the French team for that until he got that handled. You know what I'm saying? But like everything was against it. You know what I'm saying? And when an athlete, they have that charge come up, if they're innocent or guilty, they're treated like they're guilty.
Didn't that happen to Benzema? Didn't Benzema get suspended from the?
Yeah, it happened to Benzema too. Well, Benzema's I think was actually it was domestic abuse. I think it was. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what it was exactly. Yeah.
To where he got.
And that's more difficult to prove your innocence. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were that person 24/7, but like with Mbappe, he had like all the evidence was in his favor. But it was just somebody who was saying gold digging and thirsty, but still that affects you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're thinking like, okay, is this going to be that one that fucks up my career? Is that going to be the one that that spells my downfall? So yeah, and that brings me to my next thing. That brings me to my next question. Talking about how much money some athletes make. How easily does that make them targets for other people? Like we said before, women. And again, like I said before, I think that also some of these claims of statutory and date rape are true because some of these footballers, like you said, even when we think about LeBron James, they expect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, girl, let me get it. No, I don't want to, which is her right to say, I don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
you mean you don't want to? I'm me.
You mean statutory? You mean statutory rape or rape? Because statutory rape, people are under 18. That's what that means.
Well, no, but can it also be that they're also not of the fact that they want to do it and they start to say no? Okay,
that's just rape. Yeah, so statutory rape means a person.
All right. Well, however, whatever the case is, Okay,
I
so
think I think
when we did
I
it,
think I think 2 things. I think 2 things. You can be like the cops, and they can. I think athletes should have body cams. So,
huh?
and then they should be like the Chappelle Show. Have them sign a form.
No,
When they,
Kobe,
that's a
Kobe.
that's a true story. So Kobe did do that after he got the rape.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is what I heard from Underground, that anytime he hooked up with anybody, he made them sign a like,
NDA, NDA.
NDA, yeah, non-disclosure agreement, yeah. So you made a sign that. But and I think a lot of really smart athletes do that, but maybe
uh,
they just need to have body cams, and
yeah.
I guess I don't know if that evidence is admissible in court,
Okay.
but I
Right.
guess
No, because
you can't be recorded.
also,
You can't be recorded without permission.
yeah. But I mean, the thing is that also, we have to think about them possibly being victims or prey themselves, because they're also, for example, and this happens very often. This is a reality that happens very often in football or international football or soccer.
Mm,
You have people who come from poorer countries like Albania or
mm,
Cameroon,
mm,
right, or Ghana, and they go to the Premier League in England or in Italy, the Serie A, or the Bundesliga in Germany, and back home, their
mm.
family members are kidnapped. And this
Yeah.
happened. This actually happened to Paul Pogba's family. You understand? And there's a lot of things, situations. I think also with Sadio Sadeh. I think also this happened with him too. Manio Sadeh. I think this happened with him too. But so you have a lot of times where they say, okay, yeah, your brother Richard, he's a professional soccer player. He's making millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna kidnap Rigel and hold him up for ransom. You know what I'm saying? Because we know he's gonna pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And, that's another.
What?
Those are other traps.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying?
Who? Right, right. No,
Yeah.
who? Yeah,
Like,
who?
huh? Huh? What?
Hold up a
What's
second.
going on?
Hold up a
Right?
second.
Just,
Just joking.
yeah. Line breaking up. Okay, right? Like we have the dudes, black pass or hostages. Blah 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 blah
I'm just messing with you.
blah.
Of course, I paid a ransom.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't have. No, I don't care. I don't care.
No, but a lot of
Fantastic.
people,
No,
yeah,
no.
I know a lot of these poor people that come from these poor countries. Their families getting kidnapped. Yeah.
Yeah, they are, and that's again, like I said, obviously it's a different crime, but it's of the same circumstance up because they see a lot of these athletes as money, and which brings me to one of the biggest controversies. Actually, a lot of people think about athletes being paid too much, right? And sometimes I get in arguments about this, and because I kind of look at it from an objective point of view, and I think they don't
Mm.
get paid enough usually.
Okay.
You know, a lot of these guys, they're, say you take like a Lionel Messi, you know, I think that he might actually have a strong family ties, etc. But I think that with him, he was brought from Argentina to Spain at 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? His whole life is football. In about another 4 or 5 years, unless if he gets lucky and gets a commentator job or something like that, what is he really going to do? You know what I'm saying? His whole life is that. You know what I'm saying? And he has and he'll have like another 35 to 45 years of his life ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, what I'm saying, the system has been making money. They've been making bread off of you for so long. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's the way I feel. I feel that if I work in a mom and pop's diner, I get paid, what I'm saying, $1,000 a month. Okay, that's natural because it's a mom and pop shop. They're probably paying me more than they make a month. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm working in I don't know, a multinational restaurant where they're pulling in 30 million or $3 million a month, and most of it in this one restaurant where I'm working all the time, I'm sorry, bro. I think that my value is worth a lot more. So it's only natural, like you said before, because of supply and demand. So many people watch sports. They should be paid that much money, that much more money. And plus, how many people that they heard, oh, bro, listen, Richard, now that you're in the pros, yo, why don't you lend me about 250,000, bro? I got this business idea, bro, and you can't ask for it back. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, why are you asking back for that chump change? You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of athletes, one of the main things that happens to athletes, professional athletes, not most people get Giannis salaries or LeBron James type of salaries. A lot of people really get, what I'm saying, I don't want to say low salaries because they still can survive, but compared to their counterparts, they don't get paid so much. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like if you're working in a big company, the CEO is going to make a lot of money. You know, if you think about the major athletes, they make a lot of money because that's why people go and watch those games. You know, the lower tier, the role players, they don't get paid as much. You know, and that's one of those realities I think. And I don't say more. Or if we want to prioritize, stop watching the sport. You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad at them because you know what I'm saying they're good at something and you're asking for it and they're getting as much, they're trying to capitalize as much as possible of it. If you don't like that, then don't watch it. Boycott it. You know what I'm saying? And watch how salaries
You
start
know,
to go down. You know?
no, I do agree with that. Like, if the money is around, it's better that the money is spread and then let the owners keep all the money. They're making a lot of money. But I think it says something deeper to our society that we value watching a sports game more than we value our kids' education
Oh, definitely, yeah.
and other stuff. And I think also I would I think what would be much better and much more fair, I think, would be is for them to lower ticket prices to these games. So actually the people who are true fans can afford to go to these games, and then the players just take a little bit less money. So
Yeah.
maybe they're going
I
to
think
make
that could be a
more,
good case. I think that'd be a good case too, especially now in this day age of
and they're still make
subscription,
more.
of the subscription life. Because now I remember, if you remember back in our time, as
Yeah,
long as the Pistons weren't playing in Detroit, we could watch the games. You know what I'm saying? Now you have to have, I don't know, the TNT pass, this sports pass, this sports pass. You got like 40 different subscriptions. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
You
So
know.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah,
I think that'd be a good thing because, like, anyway, most of these teams they make money off of stadium, but they make all their money off of TV rights. So I think
yeah, exactly. They do.
that'd be something good for everybody if they just lower the ticket price. Because like going to these games now, it's ridiculous. I'm sure going to the Champions League is going to be probably like $6,000 for nosebleed seats.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly. No, definitely, definitely.
who can afford $6,000? Maybe
Yeah,
just like corporate sponsors.
yeah,
That's it. And celebrities. So, but like the true fans don't get to go to these games unless they say
exactly.
whole lot. So I think that'd be a good thing is like lower ticket prices. So like lower completely, like tickets shouldn't be more than $50 flat out.
No, definitely. How much are tickets now?
I mean, to go to like the Lakers game, I was looking at going one of the
Yeah.
Lakers games before the season. I mean, even like the nosebleeds are like a couple $100. Like even for
Okay.
the Dallas game when they played Dallas last week,
Yeah.
uh, the cheapest seats in the nosebleed were like $600.
Really?
Yeah. Or my fault, 250.
And the stadium was full.
Or stadium was full, but it's like select, you know what I'm saying? So
Sorry.
yeah.
Hold on one second. Let me get.
Yeah. Mhm. We're just taking a little bit of a break because my brother's having an allergy attack, but still talking about sports and the salaries, and now my brother's back in.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but like I said, I think that we should definitely cap how much games should cost because I think
Okay.
they're just way too expensive now, and with parking and everything, it's I mean, people still pay for it, and families
Yeah.
still pay for it. And I think another thing also, a lot of especially in America, we look forward to seeing these individual athletes, and a lot of these individual athletes are taking games off. They need to
Yeah.
recover
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like. There should be some
Which is
incentive.
in there. Which is in there. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're still humans. You know. So I look at it like that. They're still humans.
They're still
You know.
humans, but it should be incentivization. Like, yo, if you miss a certain amount of days,
Yeah.
you don't get your full salary.
Yeah. You don't. Or you don't get those bonuses. Yeah. You don't get those bonuses. You know what I'm
Well, no,
saying?
yeah, whatever. But it should be like, I mean, I think you should get the bonus. I think that should be a bonus if you play a certain amount again. In some
Okay.
players who are habitually hurt, they do have those bonuses.
I mean, yeah. I was saying, especially in football, they have a lot. They have that salary. They have that clause in there. You know what I'm saying? A lot. You know, if you play 50% of the games, blah blah blah, you get. You get like this like 5% bonus. If you play 70% of games, you get like a 10% bonus. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I think it should be like this. So, like, look, in America, you get what, 3 weeks off, 4 weeks off. So that's 4 weeks out of 52. what's that like 10% or 8%,
yeah,
8%
yeah,
work.
yeah,
So if you miss more than 8% of your games,
yeah,
you don't you start getting deducted part of your salary. I think that's only
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
maybe you can, instead of giving it to the owners, you give it back to the fans, like by
Okay.
lowering the ticket prices. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, when we talked about it before about that capitalism mentality, but do you think that owners will still will they lower the prices, or they just look at it as more of a profit for them?
Well, no matter what, the NBA, the MLS, the Italian Premier League, those are private organizations, so they can do whatever they want to.
Exactly, exactly,
So,
exactly.
but of course, the owners have to vote on it. But I don't think the owners, as a collective, will vote on anything that crazy. But at the end of the day, they're a private organization, and they can do whatever they want to.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
they
In
want to have
fact,
a hard cap on how much they charge for tickets, they can do that.
exactly, exactly. No, I
Yeah.
mean, but that's crazy. So what you're telling me is that the Lakers Mavs game. So is that because it was the Lakers and Mavs, or all tickets are like that?
That was the
So
Lakers and Mavs.
it changes. So it changes from game to game.
Yeah, that was the Lakers Mavs game. I think
Okay.
most of the tickets are just always kind of sold out. I mean, I guess you can
Okay.
buy regular tickets. Yeah, I take that
Okay.
back. You can buy regular tickets. All the games aren't sold out, but
Okay. No, because I know that. Here a lot of times the ticket prices are the ticket prices. That's it. You know what I'm
they
saying?
just
Yeah. It's all about it's all about how quickly they sell out. That's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? But those prices are those prices. But you have to consider that's mainly because, especially in Italy, only Juventus and I believe another team that that's like one of those almost relegation teams that they always hover between Serie A and Serie B. None of the teams own their own stadium. You
mm,
understand? They're governmental, or they're the stadiums of the city, of that city that
mm,
they play in. So like for example, AC Milan and Inter Milano, they play in the same stadium. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Until about 10 years ago, Juventus and Torino played in the same stadium in Turin.
mhm,
Uh, Lazio and Roma play in the same stadium in Rome. So and they paid back. They paid a fixed amount of ticket sales to the government or to that city that they belong to, and they have to promise repairs and or constant upkeep. And also security. So that's one of the main things. So like a team like, what? That's not. Hey, we just let people in the gate. You know what I'm saying? Consider us the promoters, really. You know what I'm saying? Promoters
mhm.
of this match. You know what I'm saying? Everything else, government, that's on you to think about. Not me. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
and that's the thing. So ticket prices are fixed. So if it's in Milan
Well, I think the
or
ticket prices
or
are fixed. The ticket prices are fixed here also. It's just like
okay.
once they sell out, they just go on the secondary market. And the
Exactly. Yeah.
secondary
Yeah. Yeah.
market,
Yeah. 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 That
that's
happens
where
too.
the
Yeah. That
prices
happens too.
are.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens
So
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, I just think that we do love athletes. We idolize them. We in ourselves, that's why we get into sports too, because it does channel something in us that is kind of like a deity, or
Mhm.
or connection to something bigger. Even when we play in our own sports on our own, even if we're just weekend warriors.
But
So
do you think that's because of that competitive nature that we have inside of us,
I think I
engraved in
think
us? Yeah.
I think it's just ingrained in us. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay. No,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. Yeah. Everybody trying to become the alpha male. You know what I'm saying?